What's up, Nerfers? Today I have a couple of metric converted 3D printed slabs to show you. If you haven't heard of the slab before, the name stands for Silly's Lever Action Blaster, named of course after the original designer, Sillybots. Sillybots has a website and a YouTube channel. Go check him out after this video, of course, at the links down below. The metric conversion itself was done by a Nerfer named CJFL, and these two slabs were dropped off to me for review thanks to Jay at Foamwork Adelaide. Jay is licensed by Sillybots to print and sell these here in Australia. You can also get just the metric hardware kit from Foamwork Adelaide as well, if you'd rather print the blaster yourself. Now, aside from the conversion to metric hardware, the cylinder has also been upgraded to a metal one over the clear plastic one of the original. The side priming bars have also been upgraded from plastic to metal now as well. And probably the biggest difference from the original is the lever itself has a 3mm thick metal core. That allows for some much heavier spring loads without the risk of it snapping. The first slab that I want to take a look at is the short one. No buttstock, great for close quarters, and it makes you feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2 when you're using it. With a lighter spring installed, perhaps you could even flip cock it like he does. Now, on Foamwork Adelaide's website, there are two different power levels of spring you can choose for this blaster. Installed in this one is the stronger of the two, hitting around an average of 180 feet per second. The alternate spring that I don't actually have shoots a lower 150 average. And later on, I think I might even show you a stronger spring than those. Up front, it has a just for looks bottom barrel. I can actually just pull that out and show it to you. It's just an off-cut piece of barrel material. The barrel itself is standard 13mm ID, 16mm OD aluminium. So you could very easily add some rifling like the Foamwork Adelaide B car that I have on the purple one. The slab has a nice large handrest, and the metric converted one has a lot more reinforcing bolts through it than the original slab had. Some of them do actually touch your hand, but I'm guessing they were added for good reason. Was the original a little flimsy or something? Maybe someone can answer that one down below, because I haven't actually seen the original slab. What I can say about this one though is that the entire blaster in general has very minimal slop to it for a 3D printed blaster. Up top, it has Picatinny rail for adding attachments or even a red dot sight. Overall, this is the only part that I have a small complaint with. The Picatinny rail is loose enough that I can actually rock it side to side, and that becomes even more exaggerated once you add a sight on top of it. We'll have to see whether that affects my accuracy test later on. Moving further back to the magwell, this blaster takes half-length darts using worker Talon mags. You can remove that worker Talon mag at any time by pushing in the mag lever at the back and pulling the Talon mag out. I did find though that the retention inside the magwell is too tight for gravity drops, even with the breech open. So you won't be able to do any tactical reloads, instead you'll have to actually pull the mag out each time. Coming to the lever itself, as I mentioned earlier, it has 3mm thick aluminium through its core, adding some nice durability over the original design. There's also a 3D printed padded section for the back of your fingers, which I don't believe the original one had. Especially when using the 180 FPS spring, that padding helps save your fingers from getting sore. To load a dart and cock the blaster, this works just like any real steel lever action firearm. With your front hand holding the blaster steady, push down and forward with your trigger hand until you feel it lock in place. Then just pull the lever back into the grip, which will chamber a dart, and the blaster is then ready to fire. The trigger has a small amount of travel before it fires, and has a fairly firm trigger pull as well. But I think overall, for having a trigger linkage that goes up and then all the way to the front of the blaster, the trigger pull isn't bad at all. Now, there is one feature of the slab that I think you could own this for more than a year and potentially never even notice that it has. This blaster actually has slam fire. If you hold the trigger in while cocking the blaster, it'll immediately fire the moment it returns. I do think it's incredibly awkward to cock the lever with your finger on the trigger, so personally, I'd just stick to the standard cock it, aim it, fire it. At the rear of this short one, it has a nice, comfortably shaped, rounded off grip. absolutely perfect for holding it extended in one hand or for tucking it into your body for close quarters. Now, this purple one I'm going to show you is my own personal slab printed for me by Jay at Foamwork Adelaide. Now, you might notice on this one it does have a buttstock. I specifically requested that for one simple reason. I wanted to put an even stronger spring in mine than the ones Jay offers. I tried it without a stock at first, and while I can actually cock it, it's not a fun time at all. But when shouldering the blaster with the stock added, the 18 kilogram spring is no problem at all. The stock itself is nice and solid to brace against your body, but it does have some flex to it side to side. There's no real reason you'd ever be putting stress this way though, so if you're using it as intended, I don't think the stock would be an issue at all. By the way, in case you missed it, it also has a sling point on the bottom of the stock, if you like slings. Where the short version reminds me of Terminator, this longer version reminds me of old Western films. And while we already know what the slab is capable of with its stock 150 FPS spring that I think that the old version used to have, and we also know what it does with the 180 FPS spring that Jay's offering, what can my purple one do with its 18 kilogram spring installed? Pretty cool. I think it's time for a chrono test. 15 shots of worker bamboos with Foamwork Adelaide's B-car rifling attached. Let's see how it does. 226. 210. 221. 246. 221. 228, 206, 205, 219, 240, 215, 235, 204, 212, 222, and that's all 15. Being a 3D printer blaster, I've been very careful not to dry fire it. You can see in through the top when you're empty. With worker bamboos and rifling attached, my purple slab shot a high of 246, low of 204, average of 220, and it had a standard deviation of 12.7. Not the most consistent results, but definitely an impressive step up over the 150 FPS original slab, those metal parts allowing for much heavier springs. But will that standard deviation impact accuracy? Let's find out. Okay guys, so I've figured out that at this velocity I need to aim about here for the darts to drop to the center of the target. Let's head back 30 meters and see how the blaster does with worker bamboos. Although, after we're done with those, I thought you guys might want to see how a bearing scar performs with the new heavier worker bamboos as well. Hit. Hit. This is like really hard to aim on this chair. Hit because of the curved handguard, or because of the curved front grip. Hit. Hit, a bit lower though, I think. Hit. Hit. Hit.
I mean, obviously it's a hit. It's a Nerf gun, not a gel blaster. Hit. 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 This is getting a bit heavy to prime. Hit. Without bracing the stock against my body though. It's an absolute nightmare to prime this spring. Hit. I think it's the last one. And hit. Alright, we're going to swap in the heavier worker darts. Bamboos, 15% heavier. Let's see how it does. Hit. Hit. They're going more to the left for some reason. It's a weird interaction with the bearing scar. Hit. Hit. I think they are going lower on the target. Hit. So you just aim higher. Hit. You get further range. Hit. 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 Definitely grouping lower. Hit. Hit. Ooh, that was almost too low. Not sure where that one went. Did it hit the cinder block or the wood? Hit. That's all 15. Going to be very interesting to see how the heavier worker darts perform with bearing scar. Definitely seem to drop lower on the target. So you just aim a bit higher and at very long ranges actually go further.
From a distance of 30 meters away, worker bamboos shot a spread of 40 centimeters in size. Very impressive, in fact, on par with my Sabre M20 blaster that I use for dart testing. Taking a look at the 15% heavier green tip worker bamboos, they had an even tighter 30 centimeter spread, though they did group lower on the target and a little to the left compared to regular worker bamboos. If I make pretend that I actually zeroed my sight, who has time for that when you're swapping between so many different blasters all the time? It becomes much easier to see the difference in size between the two spreads. With the green tip darts, you'd just aim your blaster a bit higher, and being heavier darts, they'd carry their momentum further too. It certainly looks like the wobbly Picatinny rail didn't seem to affect accuracy of the blaster, though personally I might still get out some super glue or something to fix that in the future. But after using the SLAB for some gameplay, what do I think of it overall? Well, from a practicality standpoint, I have to admit lever action operation was a little slower to reload after each shot, a little less forgiving if you missed your target, and a little more tiring on my hand at the end of the day than a shotgun pump grip would have been. What I will say though is it was incredibly fun to use. Also, despite the added length of the buttstock, I was still able to pull off quite a number of kills with it in close quarters. I just had to play a little smarter and sneakier. With that longer reload time between shots, if I did miss a player or there were multiple targets, Sometimes I had to actually duck back into cover until I was ready to shoot again, whereas with a pump action blaster, I would just nail both enemies quickly back to back. I definitely think the shorter version would be more suited to the field where I was playing. But the purple one being a gift from Jay, I wanted to run my new blaster through its paces. Plus, being more of an accuracy focused nerfer, I always prefer my blasters to have a buttstock anyway.
Bang bang. Good one.
If you love the look of this blaster or enjoy the idea of turning heads by using something absolutely unique out on the field, Silly's lever action blaster might just be the blaster for you. Find it at the links down below at Foamwork Adelaide. That's all I have for you today. Consider giving this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down to let me know what you thought of it. And here's 2 others you might enjoy. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.